When we think about the world's absolute greatest athletes, we almost always picture grueling physical workouts, heavy weights, and just endless hours of sweat. But what if I told you that some of the absolutely most critical training they do happens when they aren't moving a single muscle? Well, today, in this explainer, we are going to unpack the hard science of visualization. We're going to look at exactly how elite performers train their minds just as rigorously as their bodies, and how you can use these exact same scientifically backed techniques to completely level up your own life.
And honestly, this quote brilliantly illustrates where it all begins. Listen to how elite fighter Conor McGregor puts it. He says, "I see these shots, I see these sequences, and I don't shy away from them." Before he ever steps foot inside the octagon, he has already predicted and visualized the exact scenarios in his head. It's like he's lived the entire fight before the bell even rings.
And hey, he's definitely not alone here. Tennis legend Novak Djokovic uses this exact same strategy. He tries to play the entire match in his mind before he ever steps onto the court. In fact, he credits this mental rehearsal as the specific tool that allows him to remain completely calm, save match points, and just dominate under the most intense pressure imaginable.
So, let's jump into Section 1, the secret of elites. Why is this mental prep so absolutely crucial? Well, because almost half of these top-tier athletes face clinically significant performance anxiety. For them, having a sharp mind isn't just a nice bonus, it is literal survival.
Which naturally brings us to a really pivotal question, and one I want you to seriously think about. Is this just manifestation, or is it actual science? Because look, for a long time, talking about visualizing your goals got lumped in with those kind of woo-woo law of attraction myths, right? The idea that if you just sit on your couch and think really happy thoughts, a championship trophy is going to magically crash through your living room ceiling. Well, we are pivoting completely away from that today. What we're actually talking about is hard, quantifiable neuroscience.
Moving on to Section 2, the science of functional equivalence. Let's break down the hard science of why this actually physically works.
Okay, here is the core concept you really need to understand. It's called functional equivalence. This is the neurophysiological principle that your brain activates the exact same neural pathways when you vividly visualize an action as it does when you actually physically perform it. Your central nervous system, for the most part, simply cannot distinguish between a highly detailed mental rehearsal and reality. So, when you vividly imagine a movement, you are literally strengthening the motor memory traces in your brain.
Now, prepare to have your mind blown because the sheer magnitude of this effect is wild. 22%. In a really famous scientific study, researchers had one group physically train their finger strength, while another group merely visualized doing those exact same finger movements without actually moving at all. And get this, the visualization group saw a 22% increase in physical strength. Their muscles didn't just magically grow larger out of nowhere. Actually, the neural pathways firing those muscles became 22% more efficient. This proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that mental training yields real physical results.
And if you want a jaw-dropping, real-world example of this, look no further than Nathan Sharansky. He spent 9 grueling years in a Russian prison with absolutely no access to a physical chessboard. So to survive and pass the time, he played chess entirely in his mind. He visualized the board, the pieces, millions of potential moves. Years later, after he was finally released, he sat down and played Garry Kasparov, the reigning world chess champion at the time. And he actually beat him. All from 9 years of purely mental practice. Truly incredible.
All right, Section 3, process versus outcome. Because the truth is, not all visualization is created equal.
You basically have two main categories here: outcome visualization and process visualization. Outcome visualization is picturing that final end result, holding the trophy, crossing the finish line, maybe winning that big promotion. Now, this is fantastic for a quick boost of motivation and confidence, but there's a trap. If you only focus on the outcome, your brain kind of feels like it already won, which can actually lead to apathy. That is exactly why you must pair it with process visualization. This is visualizing the actual mechanics, feeling the exact rotation of your golf swing, or timing the explosive start of a sprint. The absolute best athletes always combine both, the motivation of the outcome and the mechanics of the process.
You also have to choose your camera angle, so to speak. Are you using an internal perspective or an external perspective? An internal, first-person view, where you're looking right through your own eyes, is scientifically proven to be best for timing and really feeling a movement. Think of a quarterback making reads against a defense.
On the flip side, an external, third-person perspective, almost like watching a video of yourself, is incredibly helpful if you're a gymnast or a golfer trying to analyze and fix your physical technique and body mechanics.
Let's look at section 4, engaging all your senses. Because actually, scratch that, the word visualization itself is really a huge misnomer.
Take elite swimmers like Michael Phelps and Katie Ledecky. When they mentally rehearse a race, they aren't just seeing the blue water of the pool. They are actively engaging their entire kinesthetic sense. They mentally feel the heavy resistance of the water pushing against their hands. They feel the burning tension in their shoulders. They smell the sharp scent of the chlorine, and they hear the roaring sound of the crowd. The more senses you can recruit, the deeper the neural groove you carve into your brain.
Let's actually prove this right now. I want you to follow along with me for this quick, interactive exercise. Imagine you are standing in your kitchen. On the counter is a bright yellow lemon. I want you to mentally pick it up. Feel that slightly rubbery, dimpled texture of the skin. Now, imagine taking a sharp knife and really hear the slice against the cutting board as you cut it right in half. Smell that sharp, bright citrus scent bursting into the air. Now, pick up a wedge of that lemon, bring it to your lips, and take a massive bite. Feel the cold, sour juice hit your tongue. Did your mouth just water a little bit? Did you salivate? That is your physical body reacting to purely mental stimuli. That's the real power of engaging all your senses.
Moving to section 5, the Pedal-Up training model. This is the gold standard academic framework used by the pros.
Pedal-Up is just an acronym that tells you exactly how to build your visualization to achieve that crucial functional equivalence we talked about. Let's run through this fast. Physical, meaning hold your actual equipment or adopt the physical posture. Environment, visualize the exact place you'll be performing. Task, imagine the realistic execution, not some stylized ideal. Timing, rehearse it in real-time speed. Learning, adapt the imagery as your physical skills improve. Emotion, actively feel the butterflies or the adrenaline. And perspective, choose internal or external based on your specific goal. Aligning these 7 factors is what completely bridges the gap between imagination and reality.
All right, section 6, building your mental practice. It is officially time to equip you with the exact steps to build your own routine.
Here's your foundational blueprint. Step 1, start with meditation. Sports psychologists highly recommend using meditation to calm your central nervous system and just clear away any distractions before you even begin visualizing. Step 2, consistency. You really only need to dedicate 10 to 15 minutes a day to this practice. Step 3, focus strictly on positive imagery and successful execution, because negative imagery just breeds physical tension. And finally, step 4, and guys, this is critical, always combine this with your actual physical practice. Visualization is an amplifier of physical training. It is absolutely not an excuse to skip the gym.
And why does this matter so much? Because the research is just incredibly clear here. This type of structured, daily psychological skills training is literally the single most effective intervention we have for reducing performance anxiety. Think about it. When you have successfully executed a task in your mind 1,000 times, your brain doesn't panic when you do it in reality. It prevents choking under pressure, and it totally banishes those dreaded yips.
We've explored the neuroscience, the frameworks, and the undeniable real-world proof of how functional equivalence literally rewires your brain for success. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to take away from our explainer today. You already know exactly how to train your body. The science is right here in front of you. So are you ready to train your mind?